I'll admit, going in to see this movie because I saw it with you and Seth, and I was really curious at how you guys were gonna respond to Guardians because the first Guardians movie, I know Seth at the time hated, or had a ton of problems with. How'd you feel on the first Guardians?
The first one, like, I don't think I hated it, but it still doesn't rank very high up on my Marvel movies, just because. And my big problem, so I know Seth complains about the characters not matching the comics, and it's like that's whatever, but the emotional moments just never stick in the first one because they always play it for a joke.
Yeah, I will say when I first watched Guardians, I was really excited for it because it was something different at that time in Phase 2 because we were getting, it came before Age of Ultron, didn't it? Yes, because it is an Infinity Stone thing.
Yeah.
But we had I forgot what came out around then. I think it was Cap 2, Iron Man 3. Am I wrong? Cap 2 maybe. I've lost the timeline. But anyway, it was like it was like the second and third movies of characters we'd already seen. I think Thor Dark World was in there. Thor Dark World came before Guardians, too, because that Stinger was the collector thing.
Okay.
So, they've all kind of blended. Phase 2's kind of blended, but it was all like the second movie, and it was something new. It was like, all right, these are characters we haven't seen yet. But rewatchability, the jokes were really funny that first couple times, but after that, once the jokes are played out, it's not one I go back and revisit a lot. I still like it, but it's not one I go back to.
It's got its moments, but overall, I think for me, it was one of the weaker of the Marvel movies. I know I have my own minority opinion there because I like Iron Man 2 and 3 and all that. But everything I've seen for number 2 looked fun, and I enjoyed this. They don't really give anything away in the trailers.
No. James Gunn had said that he's just showing us the first third of the film, and that's almost true. There's a couple scenes from toward the end, but it was really, honestly, like, I was surprised because when we see Ego in the trailer, it's all trailer stuff. This is non-spoilers for the moment. We'll get to spoilers, I'm sure.
We will tell you when we're about to talk spoilers.
So in the trailers when they show Ego, I expected that to be like late in the film, but it happened really fast.
Probably the first 15 minutes, I think.
Probably.
Well, I mean, technically we see Ego, like, he's one of the first things we see.
Yeah.
There's a little prologue before the movie starts proper.
Yeah, but when, like, his big reveal to Quill, like when he walks out, like, I'm your dad, Peter, I expected that to be later, and it happened. They got there really fast. So I was impressed. They really, once we got to that point, I was like, holy crap, there's still a ton of this movie I haven't seen yet because the trailers notoriously, I can know, like, I have this coming up or this coming up, but watching the movie, knowing there's so much I hadn't seen was cool.
Trying to think, there's pretty much most of the trailers, like the opening, like where they fight the big, I keep want to say like Sarlacc monster thing, so this big naked tentacle thing, like that's what's in all the trailers. Like that's like the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's almost opening scene because you have the prologue stuff, which it's not. We won't tell you really what's in that because that's spoiler, I guess. But when you first see the Guardians, like that is essentially right off the bat.
Yeah. And a lot of people have been there's a lot of reviews coming out. It's like, oh, it's not as good as the first one. It's pretty much the first one until like the last half. I'm disagreeing. Like, I feel like this one, it established its own identity a lot faster than the first one did. And I feel like it's obviously they go bigger. I think there's a lot more to like about this one compared to Guardians 1.
Yeah, it's weird. I've read those reviews too where they're like, it's the first one, and I have a hard time seeing. Like, I don't know what they're meaning. Like, yeah, it's funny. Like, the first one. The characters are the same from the first one. That's like me saying, let's see. It's like me saying Winter Soldier and Cap 3 are, like, they just did the same things. Like, they didn't do, like, they're similar characters, I guess. But I liked Captain America 2 a lot.
Yeah.
I liked Guardians 2 a lot more than the first one.
So did I.
They're just different movies. Like Guardians 1, if you think about its time, this is the first time we're seeing the cosmic stuff. This is a risk for Marvel at the time.
It takes its time setting everything up.
Yeah, which is needed for the first film. It's kind of
especially when you're introducing all the cosmic stuff.
And brand new that there's no affiliation. We have no affiliation with these characters.
The closest we get is like a shot of Thanos from Avengers. Like that's the closest cosmic Marvel movies have gotten.
Yeah, and it's not like they're characters like Spider-Man or Captain America Spider-Man we know. Cap before the Cap movie, some of us kind of knew.
Yeah.
These are characters that comic fans, a lot of comic fans didn't even know. But it was risky, and if looking back, like that was the risky gamble movie. Was the cosmic silly stuff.
Yeah.
And now you look back and you go, man, they
nailed it.
That's not or it's not risky at all. Seeing
Yeah.
what they did with the second one, but it's hard to judge them the same.
Yeah.
Like he built, he built off the first movie. So the first movie is just different. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I disagree with a lot of the reviews that say it's a retread or not as good. I liked it better.
Do you have a place for this movie on your Marvel movie totem pole? Like I haven't found that place yet. It's like I liked it more than one by a lot, but I don't know where I'd rank it with everything else.
It's hard on the rankings. We should do a Marvel movie ranking system because if I have to rank them like with a critical like the film, like is it a good film? You know, like the snobby Oscar guys. I don't know where it would stand, but when it comes to just general fun, like how much did I enjoy it, like fun wise, it's probably the most fun Marvel movie I've seen. Like until this point, my favorite movie has been Cap 3, and I will say that Cap 2 is a better film than Cap 3, but I enjoyed Cap 3 more than Cap 2. If that makes sense.
Well, no, I understand because that's how I feel. Like you're gonna hit me.
You're gonna say Iron Man stuff, but go
Yeah,
ahead. I'll let you go.
Iron Man is Cap 2 is like my favorite Marvel movie. Like it is still to this day has not been broken from that top spot. But do I enjoy Iron Man 1 more? Yes, because it's Iron Man. I'm biased.
Yeah, it's fair.
It's like I understand why you would rate, even though it might not technically be as good. The enjoyment factor comes in.
Yeah, if for Guardians for now, if I'd have to rank it as just how much I enjoyed it, like where it stands on my enjoyment level, it's right up there with Cap 3.
Yeah.
For me, like I enjoyed it almost as much as I enjoyed, or as much as Cap 3, as a fun movie that I think I'll go back to and rewatch.
Well, that's the thing is like Guardians 2 really revels in everything it's doing because it takes everything in the first movie, blows it up, and you get all this cool stuff. You get the jokes that hit, you get the action scenes that hit. And at one point they're just like, yeah, we're doing this, by the way.
Yeah, if he thought the first one was kind of nuts, James Gunn just went, hold my beer, watch this. But yeah, as a fun Marvel movie, I really enjoyed it. I knew going in, and we're getting close to the spoiler talk. Actually, you know what? Let's just go ahead and get into it so I can.
We'll do one thing before we do spoilers. I will say, overall, if you want a general sense of the movie, it's really good. Everyone has something to do. Everyone gets an arc for the most part, and everyone gets a really cool character moment. Like one of my big complaints of the first movie, obviously, I said like the emotional moment stuff. Drax was wasted in the first movie. In this movie, with one scene, I almost cried.
Oh yeah, I think I know.
I was like, "Oh shit!"
I'm trying to think if every character had an arc. I'm not sure if they all had.
I mean,
arcs,
Groot didn't.
No, but if they didn't have like a defined growing arc through the movie, they had something significant to do.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to think if Drax really had an arc. He didn't have an arc, but he had significant.
He had significant character development.
In moments. So if they didn't get necessarily an arc, they got great character development moments.
Yeah, and that's all we'll say.
I will say too, we saw it in 2D.
Yes.
I do recommend 2D, but I'm going to see it in 3D.
Let me know how I don't feel like I need to see it in 3D. I saw Doctor Strange in 3D, and while I enjoyed it, I've yet to walk away from a 3D movie thinking, yeah, that deserved my extra like $6.
Yeah, with Guardians, I always try to see things in 2D, mainly because 3D gives me a headache. And I like to experience the movie in 2D first, like because that's how I'm going to watch it when I get home is in 2D. So I want to experience it for real that first time in 2D, and then if it's fun, then I'll go watch it in 3D where I'm not really having to pay attention to follow because I know the story.
Yeah,
I've seen it, so then I can kind of just enjoy the spectacle of it. But there's a lot of scenes in there where I'm like, that would probably look really cool in 3D. So I think I'm going to see it again in 3D.
One minor complaint I have is that the soundtrack, the song that they use in all the advertising, Fox on the Run, I love that song. That it actually does not make it into the movie.
That is true.
So, which actually, I found out James Gunn loved the song, but he just couldn't find a good spot for it in the movie, which I understand.
That's fair. I will say the soundtrack from the first Guardians stood out to me more than the soundtrack for the second one. I was listening. I enjoyed the songs, but the first soundtrack really, I think I like that first soundtrack a lot. I think it stood out more. But that could have.
Well, it's because Guardians 2 chose like the Fleetwood Mac Chain song. Like it chose a lot more well-known songs, I think, whereas the first one, like you knew them, but they're still like you don't hear them in every movie. Like so there were several songs in this that I was like, okay, I've heard that before a lot.
Yeah, that could be true too. But yes, go see it. Go see it regardless. But 3D, I think I'm gonna go see it in 3D. I'll tell you guys how it was in 3D when I see it.